nuts. Are you ready for cocktails and conversations? Are you ready for cocktails and conversations? Are you ready for cocktails and conversations? With your host, the unapologetic diva, Dr. G, the girlfriend therapist, Dr. Cortina Lewis, and the networking extraordinaire, Diana Richardson Philippus. Are you ready for cocktails and conversation? This is Herspiration Happy Hour. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to another episode of Herspiration Happy Hour. This is your unapologetic diva, Dr. G.
Dr. Cortina Lewis, a.k.a. the girlfriend therapist.
And this is Diana Richardson Philippus, your networking extraordinaire.
How's your, it's it's Wednesday? Jesus.
Yes.
It's October 1st, new month.
Yes.
New month. How's your week been?
It's going good.
It's going really good.
Yeah, I have. Is there anything you all are looking forward to for October that you got going on, that just some changes or goals or whatever? What do y'all have going on this month? It's a new month.
This month.
Well,
it was October.
It is. Well, I'm hosting my Empower Her retreat in Grenada, and it kicks off next week. So I'm super excited about that. Yeah, I'm so ready. I'm so ready.
I bet.
Oh yeah.
I have some traveling coming up. So the 8th is Dungy's birthday, and the 15th is our anniversary. So he loves the 49ers. So they are playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So next weekend we will be in we're staying in St. Pete, but we're going to the game. He's so excited. And so we're doing that. And we'll be back on Monday. So we leave on Friday, come back on Monday. And then the following weekend, we're going to New Orleans.
Okay.
Nice.
Yes. Okay. I have a few things going on. One, so this month is my real intentional about, let me journey to 50 healthy. See, I done cut my hair off, going back to my natural, like no dye, no nothing right now. Although you never know with dye, you can't trust that. But I want to cut all the other color out.
I thought it was in the ponytail.
I told her the same thing. I didn't even realize that I thought it was in a ponytail.
You know how many times you don't cut your hair, Pam, since I've been knowing you, and your hair just grows like a weed. Oh my gosh, like.
Yeah, so I'm gonna let it grow back out. But I was trying to just cut. So, I apparently was loving the straight hair too much, and I don't know. The last time it was straightened, it's just my hair just won't bounce back. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I do believe, if nothing else, I believe in having healthy hair. Now it was healthy; it just was not curling. And just knowing me, if you know me, I'm just, hair grows back. It's just hair. It does. And 6 months from now, y'all be like, damn, did you really cut your hair?
Right.
A year from now, my hair will probably be back down, down here. But so I'm on that was one part of my, like, you know what? I am cleansing and purging. And remember, I was telling you about my house still. I got some stuff packed up and things are ready to go. But I've been in the gym every day since Sunday or Monday. Every day, and I'm doing it every day all this month because I'm trying to get into a consistent routine. And for 15 days from October 1st to 15th, I'm cutting sugar, carbs, and alcohol for 15 days. Yes. Yeah.
Starting when?
I started today.
Wait, so you said for 50 days?
15, the first.
Oh, I thought you said 50. I'm like, so nothing for your birthday? Oh,
no. Okay. I am just cleansing, and I'm just, just kind of, I just want to see how good I feel cutting out all of this stuff. So I had coffee for the first time this morning with like oat milk, sugar-free oat milk and honey. Now I can have natural sugars, but it's interesting. I felt like I was drinking tea. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to have coffee. But I like creamer, and I don't use sugar, but I use a very heavy cream, sugared creamer. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to see how I feel. I'm not really trying to lose weight. I'm really trying to tone more so. And as you get older and as you get in menopause, I said, you know what? I just need to get healthy. So that's what I'm doing for October. And I'm going to continue it, just not every day. I feel like I'm going to do every day for October. And then I'll break it down to like 3 days a week after that. So I'm just, got my water here because there's no alcohol drinking. And if you know me, I'm a sports junkie. So this is going to be interesting having Thursday night football tomorrow, Sunday night football, Monday.
You can do it. You
Oh,
can
yeah.
do it. I've been
I,
doing it for a while. I find that I don't drink nearly as much as I used to. Like I like beer. Like I'm a beer person, but I just haven't been in the mood.
yeah.
Which is weird. I don't
Yeah.
know.
So that's my October. And both of my books will come out on pre-order on October 8th. So
Amazing.
I'm excited about that. And so yeah. So it's a lot of different things that's going on, and as I prepare for my birthday next month. So
excited.
that's all for me for October. So every week I'll give an update on like how I'm feeling, because I feel like there should be some noticeable changes when you come off of sugar, alcohol, and carbs. Well, I would say this: processed carbs.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So Cortina, what are we drinking today? Thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Go ahead.
No, what are we drinking today?
We are drinking on the girlfriend sip. So I wanted to call it the girlfriend sip because, anytime we're talking about something, I know there's something that comes up, and you always like to sip to some good conversation. So that's what we're going to be drinking on today. And how do you make this lovely drink? I mean, I selected tequila because I know that's what you like, Pam. But you're going to do 4 ounces of chilled rosé wine, 1 ounce of silver tequila. I had to add the elderflower, 2 ounces of elderflower tonic, or just elderflower soda water for sweetener and taste. And then you want to have 2 to 3 fresh strawberry slices. That's going to be for the garnish. So what you want to do is just fill up a cup with some ice. You want to pour in the tequila first, and then you want to pour on top the chilled rosé. You want to stir that in gently, and then you just want to top it off with the elderflower tonic. Garnish it with fresh strawberries, and then there you go. But if you want that little twist, what you want to do is rim the glass with Himalayan salt, pink Himalayan salt, and then, pour all of the ingredients together.
That sounds delish.
It does. Y'all, somebody came up to my house. I'm like, what is this? Wrong door, wrong house.
Oh, I thought you said they came into your house.
No. No.
Hope you I said the same thing. Like, what you mean wrong door, wrong house? They came in?
No.
That's what I thought.
No, I was like, what? Who is at my door? And this, of course, old crazy here. It's going crazy because
that's good.
So I'm like, who is at my door? I go down there, and he's doing some work for somebody. But I was like, sorry, wrong house.
Rhea won't do nothing. She'll run away.
Oh, leave her alone. Leave baby alone. Bless her heart.
See, Diana, I told you I was gonna make you a believer. You thought
you did. She's a sweet baby. She's so sweet.
She ain't gonna hurt nobody. She ain't gonna hurt no fly.
Oh my goodness, big. She's so sweet.
She's just big, so
she's just intimidating. She ain't big. She ain't like no other dog. When you look at her, you be like, "Oh Lord, not this pit bull that's gonna come bite me."
Yeah, she's sweet. She's sweet.
Yeah,
she just want to be rubbed and hugged and loved.
Yeah, she do.
Hi, beautiful ladies.
Hello.
Hey. What's going on, Miss Shay?
Hi.
How you doing today?
I'm good. You look like your mom today, Pam.
Who?
You?
Oh, well, thank you.
You got her whole
looks like Pam.
Right? Pam looks like Pam.
I told her I cut my hair. I was like, oh, I finally just cut all my hair off, which is funny because Shay, me and you was just having a conversation. When was that? Monday?
Yeah.
And I said, well, I don't know. I might end up cutting it shorter. And
And here you go. Voila, here you go.
Yeah, it is.
Everybody looks so good. Look at
Yeah.
Diana. Look at this.
Yeah, I just put on some red lips. Look, I try to do a little something when I can.
And it match your nails too, look like.
Well, you know.
I have Halloween nails.
Mm.
I have Halloween nails. I had Halloween nails last week too. But I have Halloween nails on.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm going to
I
get my
like
nails
it.
done this weekend.
Say what?
Going to get my nails done this weekend.
Yeah. So and my
And
nails
prepare for all my trips.
oh, of course, of course. Of course. All right. So ladies, let's hop into this conversation because I tell you, it is really timely, especially when we're talking about like some change and just different things and just being purposeful and intentional about how we live. So Diana, come on, boo. This was one of the things that was in your mind. So bring it on and kick off the conversation.
Well, I surely will this evening. I surely will. Well, the topic for tonight is purpose over perfection and entrepreneurship specifically. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this topic is because it's been an overwhelming topic with a lot of my clients, right?
Mhm.
Because I have been finding so many people, to include once a while ago, myself, that really wanted to be, you have this need or want to be perfect in entrepreneurship. You know, when you're on your journey, oh, this has to be perfect, that has to be perfect. But guess what? Entrepreneurship isn't about having every detail perfect. It's about being clear on your purpose and taking action, even when things are just not polished, because they're not going to be. And so if you're waiting for that perfect time, that perfect launch, that perfect lead, like it's just not going to happen. But when you lead with purpose, right, then you're creating that momentum and that clarity that you need in order to push yourself further. So I like to start with a question for the group and for anyone else who is listening, if you want to chime in too. How has striving for perfection slowed you down in your business? If you have ever strived for perfection, I know I have. Well, let me just speak for myself, then I'll go first. You know, when I started, I felt like, especially on my consulting journey, I felt like, oh, I have to make sure that I have all of my programs or whatever, all intact. And no, I didn't. What I needed to do was to start. I didn't have to have every single thing in a perfect wrapped up bow, but I did need to start, because a lot of the time what people don't understand is that when you begin, the things that you need to add, the pivots that you need to make, they unfurl before you. But if you never take action and you're not leading with that purpose of what's in your heart, or should I say what God has given you, then you stay stagnant, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
All right,
This-
so I'll pass the
Ooh.
baton.
Oh, this so good. This is so good because I want to call this is a special place. This is called the sweet spot.
Mm.
Like I've been able to, the sweet spot is, interestingly, it's bitter sometimes. It can be bitter. Because is it the need for perfection, or is it really being intentional about presentation? How you're presenting it, right? Because as a visionary in equal parts of so many other things, I know how I envision it. And I know how intentional I am about the intricate details. It's the little things for me that matter the most. And that's not for everybody else. That's for me. That's for me, because this is a representation of something God has blessed me with to be able to go forward and produce and push out, right? So I know that there will be some things that we have to identify. Like you, Pam, we were talking about the book, identifying little things that where, some edits can be made, and, identify, where you maybe got some words here and, you know what I'm saying. So I feel like the flaws are beautiful, seeing the flaws, but also that sweet spot of, am I doing this prematurely? Do I have all the things to really produce it, put it out there? Because that happens. Sometimes we prematurely do things, and then there's a consequence for that. It's looking at this thing from a 360 is so broad. It's because there's so many moving parts. And I get stuck in the sweet spot sometimes because I'm like, okay, I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but maybe I don't have all the resources. Am I supposed to really be worried about the resources though? Wisdom tells me, yes, I should. I don't need to be consumed by it. If God gave me the vision, you go forward. You're supposed to operate on your mustard seed faith and go forward. But wisdom, our inherited wisdom, also said that there is, fees attached to things that we might want to launch. And so, are we worried about, do we have the money? Is there ever going to be the right time? Do you have enough money? Okay, I'm going to wait till I pay this off. I'm going to wait till I do this. I'm going to wait till the baby goes to college. And I'm going to wait till I get married. I'm going to wait. Everybody's got I'm going to wait in there. But should you be waiting? So like I said, it's so broad, and I can go on and on about this because right now I am in the sweet spot. So I love the fact that this came up. And this is so timing. And this is so timely. And I feel like we're probably all in this place in a different way though. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's my share. I was long-winded.
One of the things that I think about is, as long as you're doing things in the spirit of excellence, that's what's important, right? So if I'm thinking about for right now, because it's not about perfection, but it's about whatever I'm delivering, because if I'm people facing, right, my services, whatever it is that I'm providing, you want to make sure that you are operating in the spirit of excellence. Now, your spirit of excellence to somebody else might not be that. But if this is my definition and my spirit of excellence, and I feel like I'm not striving for perfection because I'm not trying to people please, but I want to make sure it's postured in a certain way. I want to make sure the visibility, it looks good, right? Somebody else may walk by and say, oh, that's hideous. I don't like that. Well, it's not for you because it's my vision, not yours. So this is what I feel like I want to be able to show. This is what I want to be able to deliver. And this is what I'm delivering. Now, if you look at your product and you are saying, or your service, and you say, you know what, I'm just half-assing this, it might not be the time. You might need to go back to the drawing board because you don't want to put something that's not in the spirit of excellence. And like I said, excellence is not perfection. It's just that I'm putting my all into this because it's mine. It's my vision. It's something I'm birthing. It's my baby. And if you are content and happy with the outcome and the product and the end result, that's what matters, right? Because you're going to have people that say, oh my gosh, I think it's great. And you're also going to have people that say, I could have did better. Well, guess what? If you could, you do it. But this is for me. There's always going to be naysayers. So you will never be able to please everybody. Everybody's not always going to be happy with your book, with your conference, with your services, with your therapy. Some people are just not going to like it. And guess what? Well, that means that this service and this product is not for you. It's intended for the people that it's for. One of the things that I say all the time, I'm always meditating and praying that God send me the clients that are meant to work with me. All of the clients that I am meant to come across, that I'm supposed to work with, those are the people that you send to me. Some clients weed themselves out, right? It's not that I'm praying for them not to come, but it's like, because whatever it is, my area of expertise, whatever it is that you would have for me, share with them, because I'm going to be very honest. I'm not going to say that I do Christian counseling, but sometimes I do think about me like, God, just give me the words that they need to hear in that moment. I'm not even sharing that with them, but sometimes I'll be like, well, damn, I didn't I didn't even know I knew that. Oh, okay. Well, that's great, because I'm very intentional, because I do feel like the work that all of us does is very important, whether you're coaching, whether you're doing therapy, whether you're writing a book, because words have power. Whether you're reading the words, whether you're speaking the words, whether you're meditating the words, they all have power. And so with whatever it is that we're doing, if we are praying for intentionality and we want to operate in the spirit of excellence, because God operates in the spirit of excellence, that's all we can do.
But Cortina, I love that. And I'm sorry, Pam, you don't mind. I just wanted to just piggyback on what she was saying. I loved how you said, the spirit of excellence. But this is one thing that I know to be true, right? I remember when I first launched Bronze Glow Beauty, and I was still making it in my home, right? Everything right here, packaging it with packaging from Amazon. Now, I wasn't cheap with it, but I was packaging, labeling all of the things right here. And even though I wasn't at a point where I could afford to get a manufacturer, right, that I could give my ingredients to, that could put it in the pretty packaging, I still wanted it to be in a retailer. I didn't allow the fact that it didn't look like the Max, or it didn't look like the Lip Bar, and it didn't look like this, that, and the third to stop me. I still walked my ass right in them retailers, honey, and asked for the meeting and did the demo, right? And landed the deals in the packaging that was from Amazon. Then I was able to go when the money came in, and then I could afford to put it in the packaging that I wanted, right? So when I say, purpose over perfection, yes, I agree wholeheartedly. Always strive for excellence.
But that was your excellence, though.
Right.
That packaging off Amazon was your excellence, right?
That's
it's not
right.
like
at that moment. It was my
exactly.
At that moment, I knew what I wanted, but I could have allowed it to paralyze me. I could have I'm still going to sell it, but I'm not going to try, to get any retail placement or anything like that until I get it this way. Because I'm not going to lie, I had that thought, being 100% transparent. I was like, then something was like, no, you're going to do it right now. And I had no idea how it was going to shake out, but I was willing to try. And once I started moving, things started moving, right? Or let me just say, God started moving. He was already moving in me, telling me what to do. But when I did it, he was like, okay, now you obedient. What is the saying? I know, Shay, be faithful over a few things, right? When you're faithful over a few, he will add. He will add on. He will add on. And I know all of you can testify to that.
But I think your spirit of excellence is what gave you the confidence, right? Because you walked in there as if I was already in the place where I'm in major retailers.
Listen to me.
The spirit of excellence is, okay, I might not have where I know I'm going to go, not where I think, but where I know I'm going to go in the future. But with what this packaging that I did, the labeling, the hard work, the effort, making it in your kitchen, having all of those things, I'm sure you were very detailed when you were mixing. Okay, I need this right amount. Okay, all right. And I bet if you looked at it, you wouldn't have even been able to tell that it was made in the kitchen or that you were doing it yourself, right? You had the labels and everything else. And because I know this is a good product, I have the ability to walk in here with confidence, and I don't care what these people are about to say, but I know that this is purpose driven. So if it's purpose driven, I have to be able to believe that God has put this in my spirit and he has placed me here and he has helped me to say, all right, go into that. It doesn't matter what it looks like. And they were all able to say, okay, well, we can have a meeting with you. It doesn't have to look like the Lip Bar because that was their own journey. It doesn't have to look like El Maquillage or,
that's right,
YSL or whoever else is around, because this is my space and my purpose and my product.
That's right. Own your purpose and stay in your lane and be obedient to what your purpose is. Because I think obedience is so heavy in that, because it's easy for us to start looking, right? Ooh, well, they they did it this way, or they're doing it that way, or maybe I should, or did I really hear that? Is that really what I'm supposed to do? And then you get yourself all discombobulated and off course with where you're supposed to be. And so when you stay focused on the purpose and only you really know the purpose, right? No one else can tell you what God placed on you. You know, it's between you and him. Walk that thing out.
And then there's sometimes you don't, because I remember when I was in corporate, I was comfortable. I loved my salary. I loved what I did. I was okay with working for other people, being, over the clinic. I was great. But sometimes there's a bigger purpose inside of you that you don't even realize is there. And God has to push you from your comfort zone and put you in a situation where it's like, no, I have bigger for you. So I need for you to get out of the comfort zone and push past so that what I have destined you to do and the path I have created for you to walk, you're able to do that. And that's what happened with me, because I was great working for corporate America. I vacation, okay, I need to take this. Okay, I was secure in having the what do you call it? PTO, and really being able to be creative in that element. But there was so much more. And I never wanted to go in private practice. I was always against it. I never wanted to do group practice. Never, never, never. You could not have ever told me that I was going to have a private practice. A consulting firm, yeah, but I never wanted to just see clients. And God was like, ha, 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 ha. Okay, that's what you think. Well, I am where I am now, and I've never looked back, and I don't even desire to work for anybody else. And you couldn't have told me 10 years ago, this is where I would be.
Absolutely.
So
what about you, Dr. G?
What was the question again?
How has striving for perfection slowed you down in business, if at all?
I don't know, because I'm such a doer, and I'm one of those that take risk. I'm a risk taker. And if I want to do something, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to just say, you know what, worst case, if I fail at it, I've learned from it, or I'm going to get back up and try it again, just differently. But what I will say about purpose is that in my experience, I feel like purpose is one of the most painful journeys you can always go on, because you living where you have to not second guess yourself, where you have to wonder, is this good enough? Am I good enough? The imposter syndrome can sometimes set in. But when you are making these journeys, it's deliberately set up not to be easy, because you have to do the work. And the work along the way does not always feel good to do. And by that, I mean, you might be sleepless. You might have sleepless nights. You might have to wonder where the finances are going to come from, because I'm a firm believer that God does not give you vision without giving you provision. You just have to know where it comes from. And sometimes it's stepping out of your comfort zone to have conversations with people. But in that, what I have learned is to continue to strive, especially when I am working on something. And I would give a good example is my kids' red carpet tour. I never know what I'm going to get, but I never wanted to charge. People kept saying, charge, charge, charge. I can sell out tickets, but half the people would come. And I always say quality over quantity always mattered.
Amen.
But I also believe in whether it's one person that show up or 180 people or 500 people that show up, you're going to get the same quality of my event that you're going to get anytime. And so I had to learn to navigate in that space to say, you know what, as long as I am doing the work for the community, nobody can't say it wasn't available. And here's the other thing, that when Cortina, remember when we went to the classic that time and there was something sponsored, remember we was watching all of the concert and stuff?
Oh yeah. Yep.
And when I say it was
Tom Joyner.
Yeah, the Tom Joyner sponsored this concert. It was empty. And I'm talking
like 50 people.
50 people in a big ass space.
Like celebrities performing in front of an empty space.
And we had a good
Donna was there,
yeah, we
but
had a good time, but for such a large area, and it
Yeah.
was very present. That I mean, there was drinks that was out there. It was just a good time. But if you watch them, they put on a performance.
yeah,
It
in front
didn't
of nobody.
in front of nobody, and we enjoyed. But that moment taught me how to continue to show up and do what you are meant to do, be in that purpose, because it only takes one person to be in that presence for it to become bigger than what anything that you can imagine. So you never know that one person that can change your life. So I really feel like as long as I'm open to taking risk, I'm going to do things scared. I'm going to operate in a place where of uncertainty. I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work, but if it does, it's going to be a win. And if it does not, it's going to be a win. You know why? Because I took a leap of faith and tried something that I did not expect to try, or something that I was not sure if it was going to take place. But if I'm feeling things move me in my spirit,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do it.
You
So
know, I love that you said risk taking, right? I think that was one of the things that actually bonded us, because we are such risk takers. And I think that people, or entrepreneurs in general, need to understand that entrepreneurship is a risk. You have to have an innate capability to take a risk, because nothing in entrepreneurship is guaranteed. Nothing. There's nothing that nope, this you can say, oh yes, it's going to do that. No, you don't know. And I also like to tell people that entrepreneurship is about spending some money or finding how to get it. People, you have to be resourceful. You really do. It really plugs you into what side of the brain, Cortina, they say we don't use enough. The one side, whatever side that is, you got to plug in over there. Okay. You need to get in
Figure out what
that
side we
side.
do.
Okay. It is, they say that the one side of the brain one is creative, the other is logic. And a lot of people don't tap into their creativity. And entrepreneurship
Oh
really
no,
means
we
that
only
you
use
have
a
to.
certain amount, like 5% of what its
Right.
actual capacity is.
Right. You have to be able to dig deep. And I love that you said, when you said, what if I fail, but what if I don't? I know y'all heard the Nike commercial.
just do it.
Yeah, the new one though, about when the guy is talking, like, why would I take this risk? What if I fail, or what if it doesn't work? And then at the end, he's like, because what if it does? That commercial took me out, when I tell you, because it's that part right there. What if it does? I think so many people sit back and they wait on what it is that they know they're supposed to be doing, because they're so afraid that they're going to fail.
Yeah.
But what if you don't? And
Mhm.
I don't believe in failure. Let's start there.
Yeah.
Nothing is ever a failure. That's just an opportunity to learn and grow. So what are you scared of? Everybody fails, or excuse me, doesn't hit the mark, right? At one point or time on their journey. Everybody. You keep
Yeah.
going. You can't be afraid of things like that and want to jump out there in entrepreneurship, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Sorry. That's a hard truth.
I also think when it comes to, like having that perfection, there are so many people as a writing coach that say, I want to write my book. I want to write my story. I don't know where to start. And I tell them all the time, and I say the same thing, just start writing. Just start writing. And, the other part is, when you are writing a book is really the easy part for some. I'm just saying, but that's the easy part. Once you're done, it's the marketing component that's hard. Who do you want to have it? Whose hands do you want it to be in? That's the piece that most people don't realize that they need that investment for. So writing a book is one thing, marketing is another thing. And so that's some people's hangups, why they have a book, but it doesn't move. Because once they find out how much it's going to cost, then it's like, well, now I don't know what to do. So there's just, but when you're living intentionally, you just kind of do your homework first. But essentially, writing is already going to take enough time. It's going to take some time.
And
But
we
it's
live in a day and age where when you're thinking about marketing, I think people get so confused with marketing sometimes, right? I really do. People put such a heavy emphasis on marketing and then they feel like, oh, I have to go out and hire a marketing team. No, you don't. No, you don't. What you need to do is get resourceful within yourself. You need to start marketing yourself. You need to put yourself out there. You do. You need to market yourself within your network. You need to learn how to build your network. You need to open your mouth and start talking.
Closed mouths don't get fed.
A closed mouth don't get fed. That's how you do it. These marketing agencies, they be ooh.
I live by nothing beats a failure but a try. As long as you're trying, it's impossible to fail. It's impossible to fail if you're trying. And a lot of people don't realize just how simple that is. All you have to do is just do something. If you just do one thing once a day, you're making an effort. You're the only one that can put emphasis on what the deadline looks like. If you have a deadline, you've given that deadline to yourself. Nobody volunteered and said, hey, well, I'm giving you this vision and you got to be done with it by the end of the year. No, you came up with that. You came up with that. Do things in your time. Don't allow and see that I'm going to go back to talking about the sweet spot, because there's a difference between having tools and having instructions. We can encourage people to do things and give them the keys to success because we've journeyed these things. However, they sometimes can't comprehend it because it sounds beautiful. Oh, I want to be like Pam, just a doer, and I want to be like Cortina, just, whatever. I want to be that person, but how? Right there, that spot right there, because people are dealing with the fear of rejection. They're dealing with the fear of the lack of whatever. It could be finances or whatever that is. And, when people ask me, well, Shay, how? Well, when I give you my response, understand that it's power packed, but how you allow yourself to hear it is up to you. The scripture, the instructions are written. It's in scripture. God said, walk by faith and not by sight. Have the faith the size of a mustard seed. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Like, we got to really, truly understand what the word is and allow it to be applicable to the things that we are doing upon execution. Everything from there is accountability, because you have the resource, you have the instructions. If you've been given the vision, you have the answers. But why is it that everyone is so hesitant about running to where the instructions are? And we go right back to that accountability. Hey, your journey is your journey. I'm not here to tell you who you should be believing and whatnot. But when we get back to wanting to know what the tools are, when you're offered the information, what you do with the information and how you apply it is totally up to you. You can't sit and have a woe is me moment and waddle and feel that you haven't succeeded because you've been you've been idolizing what perfection looks like from Instagram and how people show up. That's not reality, because you don't know what these people have done to make it look pretty on Instagram. You may be comparing yourself to some crooks. So what is perfection? How have you identified perfection? What does that look like to you? What standard have you set? What tone have you created in your mind, and how you gonna show up today? Because at the end of the day, perfection is how you execute, because you don't know what the vision is I have. So you can't give me a deadline and an expectation of what it looks like. So who's coming up with perfection? What is that really, truly? What is that for real?
I think that I think people sometimes are not realistic with their goals, right? Or should I, let me say it this way. Yes, you should have a goal, right? But people sometimes get overwhelmed with the goal.
Mhm.
And so what you have to do, because consulting, well, this is how I break it down, and it has to be in manageable, actionable chunks in order to move you toward where it is that you're trying to go. And yes, you do have to have an element of no, not an element. You have to be accountable for your own movement, but you need to break that thing down. So what is the goal? Only that person knows, right? What are you going to do daily, weekly, and monthly to move you toward the said goal? If you can't sit down with yourself and map that out, then you're really just doing this
Mhm.
and you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So you have to really sit down, figure out what it is that I really want. What is this purpose that I have, this vision that I have, right? And yes, along that way, you do not always have the tools.
Mhm.
You don't always have the resources. You might just have the vision. But
I have
it's
a question.
also your responsibility to seek out those spaces and places in order to help you on your journey. But as you execute, you'll find that you will those things will become apparent to you. I can't explain any way that I want to just say they pop up, because that's what it's always felt like to me. Like, oh, I was thinking about that. Oh, here it is. But you have to be realistic, break down your goals, and then begin moving. You have to move.
So I have a question for you ladies, especially this, for our audience that's listening. And I always say also the entrepreneur journey is not for everybody,
Right.
because it does take a lot of work and everybody's in different places in their life. But the question I have for you ladies is, how does your purpose roll into your personal life in terms of like how you're able to achieve things? I mean, we want our home life to be just as perfect as anything else that we really do. So how do you execute when you have families to take care of, you have kids to take care of, you have yourself to take care of? How do you show up for yourself within your purpose, where you can still have and be intentional, where you can still make things happen, where you can still set these goals? Because sometimes people are out there saying it's not realistic for me. So what do you say to people who have hurt a lot more hurdles than say we do? What do we say to them to encourage them to take those steps to operate in their purpose?
I have one word, and I'll elaborate on it, but it's discipline. Because now I don't have children, right? But I do have a husband. I have my fur babies. I have my mother and my sister who live here with me. I have my businesses. I'm a busy behind person, for real. And what I have found is that I have to have the discipline to make sure that I'm being present for all of them, especially my business, right? And so if that means that I need to get up at an earlier hour to accomplish some things that I need to do so that I can be present later on for my husband, for some different things that I have going on, then that's what you have to do. I think everyone wants this picture perfect cookie cutter, what is the word I'm trying to use? You want a cookie cutter experience that's going to fit, one size fits all, and it doesn't. But what does fit is the discipline that you have. Because guess what? If I have to go to bed at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, so that I can get up by 4, so that I can begin my day at 4 when the house is quiet, right? So that I can get ahead of the game, knock out some things for my business, get ready for my calls, be done, schedule myself, right, for a certain time to be done so that I can go and have dinner with my husband, my mother, and my sister. Or if it's something else that I want to do, then that's what I have to do. I think people have to really own it, right? And then stop expecting for things to be perfect and want to, that might sound harsh. I don't want to be harsh, but sometimes, and I'm gonna say it, I think sometimes people prioritize sleep. And when you're trying to do something, and I'm merely speaking from an entrepreneur standpoint right now. I'm not talking about anything else but that. And I don't want anyone to think that I'm passing judgment, because I'm not. But at the same time, I can only tell you the things that I know to be true. Sleep. You want to sleep in? Oh, I'm just going to sleep in. Why? Get up. If you have things to get up, handle your business. Time waits for no one.
Nope.
They're going to print money all day long and twice on Sunday. Time, my friends, you will never get back. So you best to get on the good and discipline yourself to get up, prioritize your day, and stick to it. That's my little spiel.
I would say, let's keep it simple. You're the author. You're the author. And you being the author, once you've decided which journey you want to take, it requires accountability.
That part.
And so what you do or don't do, what choices you make or don't make, it's all a reflection of you, because you're the author. And so whether you're rushing to, beat time or whatever that looks like, again, you're the author. And so you are writing the script, but don't forget every single day that you are allowed to rise and see a new one. You have a blank canvas and you can rewrite it. You can start anew at any given moment. It doesn't have to always look like what it looked like yesterday. And so you get to rewrite the script at any given moment, at any given second of the day. We can be talking about this right now, and we can get off of here and decide that we're going to do something totally different in 5 minutes. Guess what? You are the author. You are in control. No opinions, no whatever the world is doing has absolutely no bearings on what you decide, how you decide to write your story. That's my share.
Martina, you?
I just think it's good. I know I prioritize sleep, but I'm already to where I want to be.
That part. This is what you need to start doing this right here, because that's what that means, baby. Okay, but guess what? When you was trying to go where you was going, what was happening?
Well, so I'm a night owl, and so I'm no good in the daytime. At night, I get all sorts of downloads, and like I will wake up out of my sleep and I'm just like writing and writing and writing. And so I think a big part is, I mean, like if you have to like contact people, you can't do that at midnight. But if what you want to do requires other people in business hours, yeah, you need to get up. But if you're in the planning phases and you know what, I can't. That's why I don't see clients before 10:30, because I ain't gonna make it, except on Fridays when I got to go in the office. So, but you put in the work on the front end, you can get to the place where you're able to do that. But it's the effort. You can only be as successful as the amount of effort and commitment you are willing to put into it. If you don't want to be successful and put in the effort, I don't even know what you're trying for, because what are you doing? It's almost like you're planning to fail, because if you can't even do this for yourself, but you're willing to be up at 8 o'clock to be at somebody else's job because that's what's required of you, that just tells me you're not ready for entrepreneurship, because there's going to be long days, late nights. There's going to be things that you need to put into it. Everybody is not meant to be an entrepreneur, but if that is your desire and that is your goal and that is your dream, you have to know the same dedication that I have to working for somebody else's dream, because where you work with somebody else's creation.
That's right.
They're sitting at home with their legs up, relaxed, like, yep, I got these workers for me. the same amount of dedication you give them and the same amount of consideration you consider them, you call in if you can, if you're running late, you let them know, the same amount of honor you give these individuals that probably don't care about you because they'll have your spot filled before your body get cold in the ground.
Yep.
You have to be willing to put that same effort and energy into what the hell you got going on and what you want to do.
And more.
It means juggling. I might have to go to the 9 to 5 and I might have to put the energy in at nighttime. So that means prioritizing that sleep. Well, guess what? When I type out this business plan, when I do this, when I set this up, then I'll be able to rest.
I'm like you, Tina. I'm like you. I'm a night person. I'm more creative at night. Not lately. I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed now. It might be late, but I'm going to bed now. But I anytime after 3 p.m. I hit my creative zone, and I'm good from 3 until at least 10 or 11 o'clock at night. But what I will say about when people have, wanting to operate and wanting to make these changes, a lot of them make excuses for barriers. They're too old. They're too this. You're never too old to make a change, to do something that you are going to fall in love with, or something that you're in love with, something that you're gravitating to. You are never too old to make that life shift. You just have to ask yourself, what would it take for me to operate in my purpose, because this is what I want to do? What can I do, or who can I lean on, or who can I contact, or who can I get information from? One thing I have learned, and one thing about networking is I'm always looking to network, not just across like my peers. I network up. I want to know what they know. I'm going to put myself in rooms where I have an opportunity to learn something new. I have an opportunity for growth to happen. And you never know who you're talking to, who might share that vision or been there already, that can shortcut it for you and say, well, you know what? If I were you, I was in that same boat, but here's what I will change.
Yeah.
And sometimes those conversations are going to be crucial. And there are people who are not open to going out and putting themselves in these rooms because they don't feel qualified. If you look like you're not qualified, meaning you could walk into a room timid and not talk to anybody, then you're not meant to be in that space. But if you walk into a space boldly, like you belong there because you want to learn and you're hungry, people are going to gravitate to have conversations with you. And you have no idea how much people are open to give information just by a conversation.
Absolutely. I think that just the term networking sometimes for people who it can be a little overwhelming, right? Because a lot of people, when they think of networking, they're merely thinking about it as a transactional type of thing, right? As opposed to building a relationship. Because at the end of the day, that's what you really want to do. You want to build a relationship and you want to nurture that relationship. And it's not to say that every networking, experience that you're going to have, it's going to be that, because, it's just not. But I would like to say, that I've had more good networking experiences and more beneficial networking experiences than I've had the latter. Right. And also, Cortina, I wanted to just, to your point, when you were saying, because that struck home for me, when you were saying how, people will work really hard, right, for somebody else's dream, and when it comes down to entrepreneurship, for those that, are juggling, they give very little to their own. And what that immediately says to me, when I've had those types of conversations or been around people who are operating in that capacity, is that you don't want it bad enough. You just don't. Because when you do, you'll do whatever it takes. And I think that so many people step out on this entrepreneurship journey because, at one point, it was like a big wave. I'm an entrepreneur. Whatever. Right. So
everybody was
that part. It was okay. But people think that it's like, yeah, I'm just going to be rich. I'm going to step out and boom. And it don't work like that. Like, you're going to work even harder for yourself than you will have ever worked for any corporation. I can promise you that. But the difference is that it's yours.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is that your blood, sweat, and tears that you're pouring in is for you and your family and your community and the lives that you're impacting. That means something when you stepping out on purpose, when you're operating in that capacity. And so, yeah, I just wanted to lend a point to that because, that just, I get mad when I people do that. They working on it and then, well, I didn't have time because I was tired. Huh? Which you was too tired for your own business? Oh, okay. Well, by all means, go to sleep. By all means, go rest.
But I think there's also a level of grace you have to give yourself consistently.
Oh, absolutely.
It's important.
Absolutely. You should give yourself grace.
Oh yeah, as an entrepreneur, that's where that perfection comes in, where you want to strive to be better. And I think we've talked about it before, where I said, productivity does not always mean going and going and going. Mm-hmm. Because so there's good busy and there's bad busy. Mm-hmm. So it depends on what you're choosing to do. You have to be intentional. So you have to give yourself grace to learn. Entrepreneurship is a journey. It's not just a one-time thing, because money flows and then it can stop. Money can flow and then it can stop. Money can flow and it can stop. But you're learning along the way. You're paying attention to your customers. You're learning how to make those pivots. And what people don't really talk about or even show is how the economy affects your business. This shit is real right now. There are a lot of people who work for the government who probably was like, I work for the government because it's safe. Mm-hmm. Well, is a government shutdown.
They always say, get you a good government job.
Yeah.
They don't close down half of the freaking thing.
Yeah. So there are those things that's important. And then I also, they always say, in order to be successful or make it in life, you have to have multiple streams of income. I don't always believe that. I think that's not realistic always, because you don't want to, depending on how young or old you are. I think it's maybe because I always have it and I probably don't pay attention to it because I'm retired military and I work and I've taught, but I've been where I've been very successful, very comfortable in terms of living, not like comfortable, but not where I wasn't going to strive for more. But I've only had one job, but I've always been financially savvy enough that I don't need to have multiple streams of income, because I'm not living up to anybody else's hype, anybody expectation. I don't have to have all the expensive bags or clothes or anything else like that. If you can live within your means off of one salary and be happy, I'd say by all means do it. But there is that caution where it's, well, what happens when that goes away? Mm-hmm. But that's anywhere. That's anything that you do. The economy is not what it used to be. It's ever changing. You have these technological advances that's happening consistently, and you have to learn to move into those spaces or be left behind. And so as you are building your company or your business, or you just want to do things different in your personal life, you have to work for what works for you, not work for anyone else. I'm not saying go out here and get 7 jobs and burn yourself out, because no matter what job you have, when you're gone, none of that shit is going to matter.
Amen.
It's not going to matter. So it's better to operate and listen to your body and follow your spirit to say, you know what, this is what I want to do, but it doesn't feel good. Then don't do it.
You got to learn the difference between you have to identify procrastination, because everybody has the spirit of procrastination that can, come upon them in some seasons. Okay. But you got to also be able to know the difference between the season of procrastination and the season of rest, because sometimes you need to rest, because I can't tell you how many hours, days, just, that I stayed awake, no sleep, because I'm trying to make sure that things are, good at launching, and, because it was that perfectionism though. I like, what was that? But stayed up all night and rocked it for days and days and days. When you're passionate and you're driven about something and you're trying to execute with excellence, it's no excuses. Like rest, sleep. I'm not even sleepy. I'm too amped up about what I'm doing. So I'm not even tired. You look up and 25 hours done went by, But after you've done that, like, you need to rest, but then some people will get in that resting season and can't pull themselves out too. Like, you get stuck there because it's good to rest. Yes, God said take a rest. You have to rest. You can hear him. But okay, sis, when you gonna get up though? Because
see, that's that discipline. That's taking advantage of the rest.
Exactly. You gotta, but people are not willing to keep it real with themselves. Like, you gotta be able to be real with yourself. You gotta be able to identify those things about you so that you can lay those things down at his feet so he can help you shape up in those areas, because you can't shape up by yourself. You get an accountability crew, but then, hey, I can lie to you and tell you I'm getting up at 4 a.m. and I'm keeping my schedule, and I can tell you I'm eating broccoli and carrots and celery, and I just put down a steak and shake McDonald's, burger. You know what I mean? But so what is it really looking like when you by yourself? Are you truly really sitting up and posturing yourself in accountability?
Yeah.
You cannot.
That's that self-discipline.
Yeah,
it's not for anybody else. It's for you.
For the outcome of what you said. Like, don't do the woe is me. Don't do the whole because mama did it. I got dropped and all that. Listen. No, forget that, because the fact that we can look online and see people that don't have arms or legs in the Olympics, you can't tell me it's not possible. Anything is possible. But what are you doing? Stop hiding behind these words. I'm overwhelmed and I'm overstimulated and I'm over this. No, you overdo. How about that? You overdo on giving birth to that baby that God gave you,
Yeah. Well, look, we've been chatting, and look, it is the top. We have past the top of the hour.
Wow. Great talk tonight, ladies.
I know. Let's do the round robin really quick. Shay, where can everybody find you at?
You can find me on Instagram at the Coach of Courage. Or www.thecoachofcourage.com.
All right, Diana, where can everybody find you at?
At Diana Richardson Philippus on all social media platforms, as well as my website.
All righty, Dr. Lewis.
And the Girlfriend Therapist on all social media platforms. I will not be seeing anything on TikTok. I'm not going to delete my account, but I'm not going over there. And the Noir Center, NOIR Center on all social media platforms as well.
All right, you can find me on all social media platforms at I am Dr. P. Gurley, IAMDRPGURLEY. And this is, of course, you can follow the Herspiration brand at Herspiration Happy Hour. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Post your comments, go back and watch past episodes. All of them are dope. We are in season 8, y'all. I can't believe it. I tell you what, I never thought that I would be like, oh yeah, I'm in season 8 when I first decided to launch this podcast back in 2017. Yeah, it's like, wow. Yeah. I know, it's just, so it's kind of like surreal. And I think December 2017 was our first release episode. So, come a long way, you learn a long way, and I'm still excited to be here. I'm glad that, I've grown a platform to have you ladies involved. And I just love this space, and I love all of the conversations that we get to have. Of course, you will find us here next week, same time, same place, 7 p.m. What's next? Oh, yeah. So, that, look at there. I'm just drawing a blank really quick. Probably because I'm hungry. I'm over here eating these pistachios. So But y'all have a great week, the rest of the week and weekend ahead. Be safe. Let's hope that this government shutdown goes away really fast. And if this is not a testament for you all to get your asses out there and vote, November is coming up. Make
Midterms.
sure that midterm elections are here. And this right here is a reason why you need to be voting.
And the White House just froze funds for Democratic states. Bye,
Okay.
y'all. 'Cause I'm about to go.
We'll see y'all next week. Same time, same place. Cheers.
Yeah.
This is Herspiration Happy Hour.